After watching all of these videos, one common theme that came up, which you might not be surprised about, is jealousy. And a few of our speakers had some amazing insights into how to handle it in a healthy way. Um, so I put together a couple of clips from the videos where people talk about this topic. Our first speaker who talks really, really well about jealousy is Jacqueline Misla. She is a coach and also runs a podcast called Curious Fox. She is polyamorous. She has a partner and a wife and a daughter. So you can check out her full video in day one, I believe. But if not day two, you'll find it. And what she says is that jealousy is actually a gift of insight. See how?
In this way. So jealousy in and of itself is really a cocktail of other feelings, right? You're feeling territorial, you're feeling embarrassed if your partner's flirting with someone else and it's not you, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling sad, you're feeling scared, you're feeling disappointment, you're feeling lots of things. And being able to pause in the moment so I can feel, like physically feel when I'm getting jealous. I feel it in the palm of my hands. I feel it in my chest, like tighten. And it is an opportunity, almost like a fire alarm going off to say, okay, something is happening right now. What is the thing that's happening? And then I have to sit and figure out what are the ingredients to this particular jealousy that's happening right now. Okay, in this moment, I am feeling jealous because you're paying attention to someone else and I don't feel fed enough from our relationship. Or there was a time where, my partner would be having great sex with someone else, but we hadn't had sex in a while. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, so the thing that I was feeling was, oh, I feel deprived. I feel scarcity. I feel frustration. I feel not seen. And the gift of that is then now I know what the gap is. I know the thing that I need. And so now I have to figure out how to have the conversation and say, hey, I realized that I want to spend more sexy time and playtime together. Or I realize that I want us to have some time where we're not on our phones or devices and we really are feeling connected because I don't feel I feel disconnected to you. And so it gave me an opportunity, instead of saying, which is what I would do in the past, this feels yucky, shut it down, shut it all down, right? You stop doing, the problem clearly is that you're texting or you're going out or you're having sex. So if you stop doing that, everything is going to be fine, right? That the yucky feeling goes away. And so I would try to dictate and control someone else's behavior in order to take away my yucky feelings. And now I do the work of dissecting what is making me feel uncomfortable, realizing that that is actually naming a need that I have, and then coming in and saying, okay, I recognize this. How can we build this in? How can I fill some of that need by myself? So when my wife was going to, rooftop bars and walks through Central Park, I was like, I want that too. And I realized after a while, I can go to a museum on my own, or I can invite my friend, or I can go to a date. Like, I didn't need her to take me to those places, but I realized two things. One is I wanted more date nights with her and not just conversations about, who's doing the laundry and the dishes and the mortgage payment. And I realized that I wanted some more play and adventure in my life. And that didn't have to happen from that relationship. So it has taken me a long time, but I see jealousy now as a gift of insight as opposed to something that creates tension and distress.
Jealousy is a gift of insight and not necessarily something that has to create tension and distress. Even if it does create those things, it can still be a gift. It can still help you realize what you need in your relationship. And I love that way of thinking about something that we think of as only negative. And a few other speakers actually have a lot to say about this as well, about recognizing jealousy as a potential need for yourself and then figuring out how to get that need met. And some of that need might not need to be met through your partner. It could just be something you yourself want to do more of. Our second speaker on jealousy is Rachel Hope. She's also a writer on Medium. She talks a lot about polyamory. She lives with a male partner, but also has a platonic romantic relationship with a woman. She tells us how she has dealt with jealousy over the last years practicing polyamory, and it's also some really fire insight that is going to help you if you're struggling. So do you feel like you experienced jealousy at all? Did you in the past? Or?
So I love that the whole journey and everything has really made me think about jealousy as just another emotion. So a lot of people say they don't feel jealousy or that their goal is to not feel jealousy, but I don't think that should be a goal any more than never feeling angry should be a goal. Like to me, jealousy is an emotion that you have in reaction to something that is making you feel that way. So for me, I have found that the times when I have felt jealous has been when I can dig deeper and be like, okay, well, I had a bad week, or I'm stressed out, or something else is going on that I'm feeling like I need attention or that I need tending or care or connection. And so I can address it as more like, okay, well, if I'm feeling jealous, I need to look and see inside myself what would make me feel like secure. And usually it's simple. It's like reconnection, or I need to get more sleep or
Okay.
whatever.
So when you say reconnection, like time, maybe
Yeah,
spend
like,
time with
oh,
your
maybe
partner.
we need to, instead of like going out or doing separate things, we need to like cuddle and watch a movie, or um sit around and talk instead of watching TV shows that night. And so for me, that's been useful. And also, I'm really a big fan of not letting jealousy come change plans. So if I'm feeling jealous because my partner has a date, that's not their responsibility to cancel their plans because I'm feeling a certain way. They need to go do their stuff and I need to do my stuff. And if I'm still feeling that way when they get home or whatever, then we can connect and I can figure out what I need. But um, I think just like anything, it's just something to work through. And it's, it's like another part of being like emotionally aware of your own feelings. So it's kind of all built into the whole like package.
Yeah. Our third speaker on jealousy is Wendy Newman. She's an author, and she talks about how she felt when her husband started dating a younger, prettier burlesque dancer. She felt a lot of jealousy, so she goes into detail about how she handles that, and it's really great advice. So if you want to see more, just check out Wendy Newman in The Course Player to see the full video.
I also trusted my partner that he would pick somebody that wouldn't disrupt our family. And he's very smart and he's a good judge of character. And so I trusted him. And I trusted myself. I didn't know what I could trust her for yet. So I didn't necessarily trust her, but I trusted myself to be a good sister friend to her as best as I could, to give the opportunity for her to really kind of step in, and so I could see who she was. And every time I got jealous, I would look at, what do I need and what is happening? So two parts: what's happening? Why am I jealous? And is there something I need that I'm not getting? So I feel this raging pang of jealousy. She's prettier than me. She's thinner than me. She's a burlesque dancer. What's that about? Is there something I need I'm not getting? Nope, my partner is giving me everything I need. Okay, so that's done. Oh, okay, so what's happening is I'm responding to her beauty. I'm jealous because I'm in competition with her. Nope, I'm not. So I'm just going to take a deep breath. I'm going to wait about 20 minutes, take some Advil like a headache, right? And wait for this to pass. And that was sort of my internal self-cleaning oven process. So I didn't have to get my emotions and feelings out on other people when it wasn't anybody else's. Why would he have to deal with that? It's not his problem. So,
Okay.
if he had done something that was disrespectful, or if he was paying attention to her in a way that I wasn't getting the attention I need, it's a whole different deal. But none of that was happening. So all of the stuff that was happening was my own personal struggle. And I recognized that and I was accountable for that.
I love Wendy's piece here. Like, I've been in a similar situation where I felt this feeling of overcoming, like being overcome with jealousy, like this just emotion. And I think we really underestimate the power of just waiting it out. Just saying, okay, this feeling's bubbling up in me. Let me take a deep breath and just sit with it for a bit. And then think about, okay, what's happening here? Is there something wrong with my relationship? All three of the women say the same thing: Wendy, Rachel, and Jacqueline. What is actually happening here? What do I need? and figuring that out. With my partner Flo, I had a similar feeling. He went on a second date with a woman who's really great, amazing person. And I realized that I had this jealousy of the fact that maybe she's more fun than I am. And I had to really like sit down and just like process that feeling. And I didn't need to do it for long. Like it was overwhelming for a bit, but then 20 minutes later, it was kind of gone. And I know that that's not something I actually have to worry about. I know it's like, even if she's more fun in some way, like that doesn't mean that I have nothing going for me and that my partner doesn't love me. And in the end, our relationship was sound in every other way. So there's two parts to this. One is letting the feeling pass and not reacting to the feeling with emotion instead of thinking of it logically. And the second is, as well, and I'm really happy that Wendy mentions this, is that there could actually be something wrong in the relationship. So you're feeling jealous. There might actually be something that you need to address, some problem in your relationship. And that doesn't mean that it's your partner's fault or your fault, but it could be something that they're not giving you enough of what you need. And so it's up to you to address that with your partner. And if you're still feeling jealous and you're constantly not getting your needs met and you feel somehow abandoned or neglected by your partner, then maybe that jealousy is telling you that it's time to stop whatever you're doing, to end the relationship, or take some other kind of more extreme step. But 99% of the time, it's probably not going to come to that. It's probably just in your own being and your own self that you need to work on something there. Our next speaker on jealousy, Marissa, has been practicing polyamory with her husband for a number of years. They've actually been seeing another couple for quite a long time, and they have kids together. Her handling jealousy better came with a certain realization. It helped her think about it differently, and now she doesn't really struggle much with jealousy. And I'm hoping I get to where she does at some point, but watch and hear what her realization was, and maybe that can help you if you come across this emotion too. The jealousy is really like gotten a lot less intense, sounds like. Is it, would you say that it's completely gone, or is that like a linear thing where you're like jealousy gets less and less? I'm actually still quite new to non-monogamy. I mean, compared to you, like I'm been doing it in a relationship for only a year and a half or so. So I still get jealous personally, but I it seems like people get used to it to some degree. Yeah. But I'm curious, like how you see that.
Well, it was less so much of getting used to it, but more realizing that the purpose of this is to have multiple relationships, and we all give each other something different. So the twinges of jealousy used to be, oh, what if they leave me for that person because they're better? And I don't know when, but something clicked for the both, like literally at the same time, in like two different routes, but at the same time, that there's no better us than we could be for each other. So like, he's not going to get another Marissa, and I'm not going to get another Wesley. He could get whoever else, but that's going to be a whole different person. So it's not a matter of better, it's just different. And once we realized that, we were like, well, yeah, that was the whole point of this, to have different relationships and get different needs met, or different, things to explore. So yeah, everything is, everybody is different, not necessarily better. And then it was like, just like out the window, we're like, oh, and like I said, it's not that jealousy doesn't exist, but it's just weird that it's like, it's not even there. Like it's sometimes, I guess, for like, if I see him talking to somebody else and I'm like, ooh, I wonder how he feels about her. But then like later on, he comes in the room and he's like, hun, blah, 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 blah. And he tells me everything. And I'm like, okay, see, like there's nothing to be jealous about when you know about all of the communication and everybody's talking and whatnot.
Another really, really important point about jealousy is that communication can really make things feel better. Your imagination is way more powerful than any specific thing that happened. So just knowing, okay, how does my partner feel about this? How does she feel? Where is this going? And knowing that you're always going to be in the loop and that your partner is going to share with you how they're feeling about this other person is going to help you avoid getting caught by surprise or worried that you have no idea what's going on and your partner's going to leave you. If they're with you every step of the way, communicating how they feel, you're going to avoid a lot of drama and blow-ups and potentially ended relationships in that way. So I think Marissa really hits the nail on the head here by saying, yeah, we talk about everything and I don't worry because we've been together forever and they're not me, I'm not them. We're all different people and we all have something beautiful to share. And our next speaker on jealousy, so the next two are going to be a little different. The first three were about how to handle jealousy. And our next speaker, Shai, he is in a relationship with two women whom he lives with, and they're actually all together. So they're in a throuple. So they all see one another. And he talks about a concept called I actually forget the exact terms. He'll tell you right after this clip. But he talks about a way of handling your partner getting jealous. So what can you do to make it so that your partner is not in panic mode? What kind of small steps can you take to try to make everyone comfortable?
Intimacy and close proximity with exclusion by surprise. What the heck does that mean? I love how you think you look up to the ceiling. What did he say? So we came up with this phrase, which is a really complicated phrase, but here's the short of it. So we might be in a triad and everybody's happy and we have this like amazing night and romantic night together and dinner, movie, amazing time in bed, whatever happens is just amazingly beautiful. And that's Saturday night. And then on a Sunday morning, we wake up and we go to the kitchen. Two people are making breakfast. One person is sitting at the table working. And then the two, like myself and the other woman as an example, start to fondle each other and act like we're back in the bedroom all of a sudden. And then the person sitting down is having a meltdown. What changed? Well, the container changed. And that is something that we've decided we're going to keep an eye on. Like there's no reason for us to assume that one container is going to hit the nervous system the same way another container, because it's intimacy and close proximity. It feels like exclusive, like the person is being excluded, and it comes by surprise. Mm-hmm. So instead of allowing for those moments to happen, we name them, we talk about them, and we adapt and we say, okay, we're just going to treat each other the way we would if there's kids walking around. Like, why can't we do that? We do that for our kids. We might as well do it for our partners, especially in the early stages of dating somebody new. There's a lot of adapting that the body needs to experience. You can't just go from 0 to 60, even if you had experience the night before. So that's an example of a seatbelt or a speed limit we would put on consciously on a relationship.
I think Shai makes a really important point here, which is that when we're first exploring polyamory, we might be getting super excited about it and want to do everything all at once and date all the people and go on all the dates and have all the sex. But the point is not to just rush into everything and overwhelm our partners. So jealousy is something we should take responsibility for and deal with on our own, or figure out how we can help our partners deal with it. But from the other side, we also have to realize that we're human. And so if our partner is struggling with an emotion, probably not a good idea to then just jump into something new and surprise them with something else that's going to be even more emotionally charged for them. And so what Shai talks about here is seatbelts and speed bumps and things that we can do to just slow it down and not rush into anything. If we want our relationship to remain healthy, we also have to be mindful that it takes time for people to work through things. Of course, if there's something you really want and your partner is feeling jealous and doesn't want it, that's going to be a compromise or something you'll have to work on, or that again might be something that leads to the relationship ending if you're both not working together well enough in that way, or you're not on the same page there. But again, that's not going to be the case 99% of the time. 99% of the time, you just need to put in some sort of speed bump or seatbelt, as Shai said. So that's That's important too. Our last speaker on jealousy is not really so much about jealousy, but I love what Kevin says about compersion here, which a lot of people say is the opposite of jealousy. So this feeling that you can have when your partner's dating someone else or seeing someone else, it doesn't always have to be negative. In fact, it can be really positive and beautiful thing. And you'll see our other speakers talk about this throughout the videos, but I really just liked how Kevin put this succinctly, watching his partner at a club in Berlin when he was in Berlin recently, flirt with another man and what that felt like for him.
What we are open to and like playing with is accessing and experiencing other people and their energy or what it evokes in us, and then bringing that back into the relationship in service of rising in love, right? There's only so much I can bring because of who I am, how I am, and vice versa. And it's actually been quite profound to view it in that way, because there's like, I'll give you an example. Or we were at Berghain. we were in Berlin. We were at Berghain, and it's like, it's a long story, but we're sitting together, and this like big Norwegian guy comes over, and we starts like jamming, and he went to an American school and all this stuff, and him and my partner just like click, and I immediately was just like, yes. I mean, huge, right? Like 6'6" mastodon, like ripped, you know. And I'm like, I'm strong, but I just have a very different energy. Like I'm a little bit more fluid. He's just very like powerful, and they're like flirting, and like he's picking her up, and he's like throwing her around, like having this great time. And I was just like, I really want that for you, because I don't have that energy, and I want you to be able to experience that, right? And also, even just being around him, I was like, ooh, I can actually feel how I can bring more of this into the relationship too. I can be a little bit more mastodon, right? And what that creates is more of like, how can I actually just expand my capacity and like different types of energies I can hold or play out, whether it be through like fantasy role playing, right? Or through actual people in my life, right? So sometimes I'll be like, ooh, that's super hot. Like, here's why. Like, I'd love to bring that energy in. And what that creates is like, how can we actually just expand who we are to be able to like bring more into our space? Intentionally not wanting to build a romantic relationship with those people. And then, what's important about that is, one, that's always open to renegotiation if one of us wants to do that. And then two, being really clear with the people we're connecting with about the dynamic that we're in. So we're not like leading other people on, and that it's actually just in full integrity.
Growing up in our society, being jealous is very natural, because we've come to believe that when we love someone, we should possess them and that they should be ours and ours alone. But that's just the way we were taught. It's not actually a fundamental truth. And what Kevin is talking about here is having an abundance mindset. So our partner seeing someone else, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. No, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can actually be an amazing thing, because that person in our partner's life is going to help our partner grow in some way. And that's going to either directly or indirectly affect us and our relationship. And it's going to help us grow together too, because we're going to be able to see this other person and who they are and what they're about and that energy. And that's going to bring something into our lives. And so part of this is just realizing that this is not a bad thing, that your partner is seeing someone else, and that can actually be beautiful and help you thrive. So think about it like that. And that's super, super important. How can this relationship actually help me thrive too? I don't expect you to come away with this never being jealous again. I get jealous still. Even knowing all of this, I still get jealous. But I feel less jealous than I used to. I'm much better, more secure in my relationship now. And I know, like Marissa said, no one is me. I am unique. I am an individual flower. And my partner being with me and only me, I don't need that validation. That doesn't make me more special. I am special no matter what. I think that's also just a key thing to keep in mind. And I hope that my partner blooms in all his relationships and that I do too. And it's a process. So be patient and just remember all of these things, and you got this.